Hi, I'm Jason Bellamy, coming to you from National Student Conclave. I'm joined by Stephania Bell of ESPN for the last 7 years, but as you said, you identify first and foremost as a physical therapist. You just finished a keynote address for the students. You talked about a lot of different things. We'll just touch on a few different topics. The first one, they're having a networking event right now as we speak, as a matter of fact, and you really talked about the importance of building relationships that ultimately led to multiple breakthroughs in your career. But kind of why is that so important, and what can students do when they become physical therapists to sort of expand the relationships that they do have?
Well, for me, building relationships is really the cornerstone of everything. It's the continuous thread through my career, and I don't think you know at the time how a relationship that you form in your young career might impact you down the road. But I think we are in a profession where part of our job is relating to people and relating to them well. So it only makes sense that you want to develop relationships not only with your patients, with your fellow PTs, with students are forming them with their faculty right now, and those relationships will continue, and then with other professionals as they go through their career. I think not only as friends and colleagues, but as resources as they advance in their career. You just never know when it's going to come a time and you'll be circling back and crossing paths with someone again, and whether you've been helpful to them or they've been helpful to you. I think my experience has been that those circles are concentric. Like, they keep happening, and you keep benefiting from the people that you've developed these relationships with over time.
You gave a great tip. You talked about, it's one thing for a physical therapist to say what my benefit is. It's another thing for, say, a physician or a surgeon to stand up and tell a patient this is the benefit of PT. And so you gave one tip of, okay, so where do you build these relationships, and where do you say that physical therapists should go?
To meetings of other professionals. I think it's important to go to the physical therapy conferences, of course, but it's also important to attend conferences. For example, I work in orthopedics and manual therapy. That's my background. To go to the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, because you're going to hear different slant. And these are often the people who are performing surgeries on the people who would then become your patients. So understanding their thought process, the science behind why they're doing what they're doing in the OR, can help you be better at your job as a physical therapist. And just from again, a networking standpoint of building relationships, because you never know where your career paths might cross again.
But you mentioned communication would still be vital, that you can't really leave that as, oh, I'm done with taking communication classes anymore, because it's going to matter later. Give me some examples of why that's so important.
I think language, the proper use of language, grammar, spelling, these are things just with technology has made it easier for us to ignore some of these details. But when you're trying to make an impression on someone, if you send an email, or do people send letters, a letter or an email that has errors in it, errors of spelling, grammar errors, it leaves you with perhaps a less than ideal impression, and that might be a barrier to accomplishing something that you would like. So I think that's equally important. You can have all the technical skill in the world, you can have all the experience in the world, but if you can't communicate well, that's going to hold you back.
As physical therapists look to branch out beyond sort of the typical, beyond the typical boxes, it's okay to be scared, right?
Absolutely. I think it's healthy. I mean, some of us are motivated by fear of failure, and so I don't know that everybody needs that, but I do think it keeps you alert. It keeps you respectful. I never think you take anything for granted. I'm learning, reading, researching all the time to continue to try and do my job the best I can. And I do think risk-taking is an important part of advancing beyond what are the traditional, or what some people might consider as the traditional borders of PT. So it's okay to be nervous about breaking out, but if you are passionate about something and you're really committed to it, then you're going to have success no matter what.
Stephania Bell, to get more updates like this from NSC, you can go to the NSC website. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Jason Bellamy, and I'll catch you later.